Thank you for recording. Just to set some ground rules, please, let's mute our mic. Also, the admin person, you can help us mute anyone until when you want. If you want to ask a question, we will give an opportunity for we on the call, time permitting, to ask our questions live. But hopefully we'll get to that point. But till then, please let's mute our mics, except our panel members. We can also ask our questions in the chat. So it's not too late. We can, if you didn't drop any question, you can ask in the chat. And for people like Shola that got this invitation sent to, and they haven't met mentor partners before, they don't know us. We are mentor partners. We are a training and reskill company. We help people transition their careers. And this session is basically based on popular demand. If I would say, we've had a lot of webinars in the past, and there's a lot of questions that have come out of those webinars. So we just decided to put all of that together and do a webinar to try and answer all of those questions. And then we also opened the opportunity for people to also ask fresh and new questions. And depending on how this webinar goes, we might repeat this some more in the future. If you're just joining, please, we would also like you to share where your name and where you're joining from in the chat. Also, just a reminder, you can also ask questions in the chat and we'll get to it later on. We would jump straight to the program, but before I do, we have three wonderful guys that are going to answer all our questions today. And I'll just quickly introduce each of them very briefly. Some of us, we know them already. While for some people, it might just be the first time you're meeting them. So the first person is Darlington Anele, and he is a senior project manager, a senior program manager. And he has handled projects for companies like Oracle, Microsoft, Tesla, MTN, Airtel, Glo, Amazon, Smile, NHS, the list is countless. He's very experienced, and he's also the founder of Mentor Partners. And he's the one that got the vision to start up this company, seeing where the gap is in the market, seeing how much people have suffered to get trained or retrained and all of that. And we really thank him for all that he's doing. The next person that is going to be helping us today to answer questions is Chidi. I don't know if Chidi is on the call. I've not seen him.
Yeah, I think he's here.
Okay, yeah. So Chidi is also a senior project manager. He has worked with companies like Seamless, Cisco, Palo Alto, CastleNet, Resources, and a lot of banks in Nigeria, UBA, Access, all doing this project management thing. He has serious experience working with clients all over Africa, all over Europe, trying to deliver projects. And Darlington and Chidi, they are both certified PMP, Prince 2, and all of that. And the last person that's on the call that will help us with answers is Igechi. Igechi is a Scrum Master in Canada. He has done projects with Shell, Mobil, Moneris, EBS, even Apple, the popular Apple. So one of the Apple products. This man was one of the key guys that brought it to the market. So if you are using an Apple phone, maybe Igechi's fingerprint is on that phone that you're using. And these are the guys, experienced guys. They've done the work over the years, and they've also decided that they want to help other people to get to where they are. I think that's with introduction. I'm going to go straight to talking about mentor partners. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that I've already spoken to Shola, right? He was the first person to join, and big kudos to him. Mentor Partners, like I said when I started, we are a company that basically we want to help people to transition from where they are to a new career. And we've handled over 600 students globally. And when I mean globally like US, Canada, UK, Europe, Nigeria, Africa, Asia. There are students that have gone through Mentor Partners in every continent. And we've retrained over 100+ students. So these are people that have gone to other training schools, but they are not confident, or they didn't get what they want, or they couldn't get a job. And then we retrain them, and now they have jobs. And what one other thing that we do compared to other training bodies is the fact that we are going to help you before you even start anything. We're going to help you with you, of course, create a tailor-made career plan for the next 2 to 4 years that would help you on the journey. So it's not a 3 to 6 months program with mentor partners. It's like a 2 to 4 year program where we would help you to map out that journey for you to know where you're going to. Also, what also makes us very unique is the fact that we work with senior professionals. So we are not doing anything that is fictitious. You are working with live professionals working on live projects. We have partnerships with other companies for job support, internship, and things like that. So that while you're going to learn the theory aspect, what we really want to pass on to you is the experience. We want you to have the experience of whatever you're going to be learning with us. And that's, of course, will translate to you having reaching your goals and all of that. So for us, how do we go about our training, right? So when you first reach us, you contact us either through a webinar like this, maybe someone referred you that has gone through our program, or you just stumble on our website, you decide to reach out to us. That is the first step. And then we're going to have an intro call. So the intro call basically tells you some of the things that I'm saying now, but basically just introduces mentor partners to you. That's the next step. And after that, we would now go into our work, and then we would analyze and create that plan that I spoke about earlier. We'll do a gap analysis, and we'll share with you a detailed career roadmap. This roadmap is what you're going to use for the next 2 to 4 years. If you don't want to change it. Then after that, once we are fine with all of that, we go into building capacity, which is of course training and project focused mentorship. Then we give you a real life problem to solve to be sure that you've really learned from everything that we've been teaching and all the training so far. And if you're able to pass that with flying colors, we prepare you for the job market, CV preparation, interview dry runs and all of that, try and optimize your LinkedIn and all that. And the next step is for you to go into the job and of course start doing good stuff there. So before I continue, the next stage that we're going to go is to start looking at the questions that we've submitted. But before I do that, I just want to go through the chat once more. If there is anyone that I've missed out from the intro. Okay, Sheye from Manchester, you're welcome. Abiodun, thank you for the question. We would get to that, hopefully. And Amadu from Abuja, you're also welcome. Okay, I think the first question that I'm going to share with our panel is actually, it was one of the last questions to come in, but I think is a good place for us to start. And the question is, what were some of the pivotal moments in your journey? That I didn't put it in the slide because, like I said, it was one of the last questions. But I don't know, anyone can start. Darlington, Igechi, Chidi, what were some of the pivotal moments in your journey so far?
Hello, everybody. My name is Igechi. I'm joining from Canada. Currently work with Moneris, a fintech based in Canada. In fact, the biggest payment processing company in Canada. And just like Nandi said, it's one of the products we recently launched is the Apple Tap to Pay. So where you can make payments from your Apple phone, receive payments. We're one of the first companies to deploy that in Canada and in North America entirely. So for the first question, permit me to do one person the honors to kick off that question, So I'll call Darlington. Darlington, I want to do you the very good honors of starting with the first question. So you have the floor, man.
Okay, I will try. So for me, I have a very simple answer, and I wouldn't be where I am today if I was not sacked in 2017. So I had a very short-term goal, what I wanted to achieve. I was working with a particular company then, and then I had a selfish goal of reaching 3 years with them. But 2.5 years into the whole thing, I was among those that was released. And when that happened, I sometimes you begin to question God, like, were you there when this happened? This, that. But then I sat down, I started looking at, okay, what are the other things I could do? How could I build a life for myself and not be dependent on the life somebody else was giving to me? So I started looking at what the things I could do. Then project management came in, and I started the training, the other things, working with people. And it's quite unfortunate that my very first part in project management was very painful, because I trained with a company that ate my money and all of that. But I didn't still I felt all of those things as distractions. I put things together, and fast forward 2017 down to 2024, I would say I have been able to manage over 100 plus projects. I have worked across 5 continents already. I have been able to support and grow project managers, intending project managers, and even those outside of project management. So all of these wouldn't have happened if I did not have that setback. So just to put it out there for anybody who feels, okay, they are feeling any setback, sometimes it's even the right time to start. So that's what I would say to that question.
Thank you, Darlington. Igechi, do you want to go next? Then Chidi would go afterwards.
Yeah, so I can go next. Yeah, so thank you, Darlington, for that overview. Now, a pivotal moment in my career, I would say sometime before I even jump in fully into project management, I had this realization that I had extra capacity. I could do more, I could deliver more projects. And I also realized that, hey, the world is changing. I've been doing things within a certain space, maybe oil and gas primarily, but I needed to experience something different, especially in the tech world, knowing that the world was transitioning to technology. Project management was even becoming more of agile way of thinking, so that realization alone, that where I am today is focused on a particular space, oil and gas, the Nigerian oil and gas space, was a very key thing that started making me think, how do I move beyond this space? How do I move into where I become more relevant to what I'm doing currently in project management in the oil and gas space, but at the same time become relevant to resources, to hiring managers, leaders within a different sphere entirely, which is the technology product management space. So that was one of the pivoting thing that drew me into becoming more of an technology-based project manager, and started thinking about upskilling, enhancing my knowledge, reaching out to people so that I can grow from there. So that realization alone, that hey, I need to move this way to meet up with time and the way the world was going, was what really pushed me into this space. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Igechi. Chidi, up next.
Well, the pivotal moment for me, well, like most of us, yeah, it was. Now let me start from the point where, like most of us that did masters came back to Nigeria, and they sold this narrative that with a masters come to Nigeria, you have a job, but we realized that it was a big lie, right? Africa and Nigeria is a very special country and continent that we think having a degree or certification is what gives you the job. But I passed through that part and I realized it was false. So I had the masters, came back to Nigeria. To get a job was a problem. And the first job I actually got with my uncle's company, I think some of us know here, especially that time, maybe Gechi, I was being paid, I think I was paid a 50,000 naira per month, an MBA holder. It was funny. But sometimes we don't know what God has prepared. Sometimes we have to go through some things. So when we are explaining or telling people our journey, they wouldn't think it's just something that just happened overnight. So fast forward from that time, I think 2 years after, I started to like transition into, I think, business analysis first, from business analysis to project management. And from the point, well, now I wanted to transition, found the educational provider that same story, ate my money. And in the process, I now met Darlington, and from there, the coaching started. And like I always tell Darlington, which is and engage them, which is like the partners of mentor partners. Some of the places you work is what chooses you. You don't choose it. So I ended up finding myself in a consulting company that manages enterprise infrastructures for literally most of the big banks in Nigeria, and even as much as even the Apex Bank, which is the CBN. So, and that was how my journey in project manager started years ago. So that's literally how I got into this whole project management, and now trying to coach people to unlearn and relearn when it comes to what they think or how to go about their career approach, because a lot of persons are still falling into the same category of thinking things work the way we thought or we were told it works. So that's my own story in this regard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I'll just go back to the questions that we got earlier. I think Igechi, you're going to go for this first one, choosing the right tech career path. So what I've tried to do is to a lot of similar questions. I just selected some of them and put them together on a slide. So if you don't see your question directly, it's not that we skipped it. It's just that it's similar to somebody's own, and we have to choose one. We can't repeat the same question. So Igechi, over to you. Choosing the right career in tech. You can just read through some of them and just try to answer generally.
Okay. All right. So I see this person is asking, I want to be sure which career to focus on in tech. And the other one says, please, what is your advice for someone going into product marketing? So one is very streamlined to product marketing, and the other one is general, moving into tech. Okay. So there's usually no right or wrong answer to this kind of question. But I think one thing can really help. I wouldn't be able to sit back here and tell you the way you can choose it is by looking at XYZ metrics, but one thing I would say is what helped me to choose my own path in project management. First is sometimes you look at your competencies yourself. You ask yourself some natural, sincere questions. I have streams of career paths. Let's say project management, product designer, BA, product analyst, and all that. Which one fits me? Which one would I excel? Which one of them has a job title that excites me? What are my competencies? When I look at all of this, I look at the skill competencies, the quality competencies, or the quality traits of all these careers I've mentioned, and which one appeals to me more. For instance, I love being in front of people. I love to be the center of attention. I love I love the world revolving around me. And I like being in the forefront. That's how I was groomed. I like being in the forefront. Some people call it extrovert, introvert, all those things. So you need to look at yourself and say, where would I thrive more? Do I like numbers? I personally don't like numbers because I struggled in maths when I was in uni. But I like being in front of people. I can talk. I can rile people up. I can encourage people. I can drive vision. So all this that I'm saying tilts you to one side. Either you're a project manager or you're a product manager. So I would say look at yourself. Which of these roles that you're keen on in the tech space appeals to you? Which one of these roles can you leverage your current strength? Maybe you like numbers. Maybe you like data. You can start thinking around data analysis, data science. Maybe you like designing. You like writing. You like designing. You can think of product designer. Any of that would work for you. But I would say one thing: ask yourself very sincere questions. That if I look inward, what are my strengths? If I look outside the career paths, which one of those career paths can my strength leverage on and help me transition easily? I think that is one question that I think would really help you to identify where you're going to. And for product marketing, someone going to product marketing, I think is a very good career path. I think is one area that I'm also looking at studying. And why do I say that? You see, the world is transitioning, the world is moving every day, digital space. New tech products are coming up, new solutions are coming up, and these solutions need to be sold. They need to be sold to various users. It may not be the market where you're selling things hand to hand, but it could be crafting those solutions that are being developed by various companies, crafting them in a way that it can be communicated to the right audience. That is where marketing, communication, branding comes in. So I think it's a very lovely path. One thing that I think will help you excel in this role is asking the right questions. You could be in a meeting and you're asking customers the right questions just to understand what this product brings or what the value of this product brings to the market so that you can communicate that effectively. Okay, I hope I've been able to do justice to that.
Thank you so much. I think I just want to add one more thing that would help whoever asks some of this. And this is similar to the next set of questions. But I just want to add that you can also talk to people that are close to you. So if you have a mentor in church or mosques or wherever, if you have a mentor in your workplace, if you have, if you're married, your wife is a very good person that can give you that advice. Oh, okay, this is where I think you're strong. The person might not say project management or business analysis. Do you understand? But the person will tell you some things that are your strong points. You will now take that information and now try and look at, okay, with this information, which career path can I go to? And if you are still confused, you can book an intro call with mentor partners, and you can look at some of all these things, or even attend a lot of our webinars. You would listen to what a project manager does and all of that, what a business analyst does. I think now we've started doing day in the life of some of these careers. With that, you'll be able to say, oh, okay, I think project management is what it is for me. But so that is just also to add to what Igechi said. Okay.
Sorry, before you go to the next one, my hand was up. Sorry. Okay, so
No problem, yeah.
That thing you said, what you said is very, very correct, and it just made me remember years back. When I came back from the UK, I was working in HR. For those who don't know, I actually transitioned to technology, IT, project management from HR. So my first career in UK was as an HR coordinator. So I was kind of looking at that career path of growing into becoming an HR business partner and all that. But when I returned back to Nigeria, I used to struggle to even get into the HR space. But I remember my wife always telling me, "Guy, you're good in this area." That's why I say you're looking at yourself, your competencies. And as Nnamdi said, it also made me remember. My wife always told me, "You're good in this area. You can drive things. You can stand in front of people. You can present vision, drive the vision." So that also helped me to understand where my strength lies, which was project management, PMO, Scrum Mastery role, and all that. So your wife, your partner can also, a mentor you look up to, can also help you craft, help you understand where your path could be leading you to. But the ultimate decision, the ultimate decision lies on you to know where your strength really is. So you have to always look inward where it lies. Yeah. So thank you, Nnamdi, for that reminder.
No problem. Thank you. For the next set of questions, very similar to the first one, but this is career advice, transitioning to tech. And I think I just want to highlight one question. What is the roadmap to going from interest or entry level to proficiency in project management and project delivery? Does your mentoring program offer opportunity to learn how to use project management tools? I want Darlington to take this question and maybe any other question that he can put up. And after that, maybe Igechi or Chidi, if you guys want to jump on what Darlington have said.
This question is hard though. Okay. All right. So how can I transition from the world of tech with zero coding skills? Okay. How can I transition to tech to land opportunities globally? How to navigate the tech world with little or no knowledge? Man. Okay, first thing is you have to learn how to. So I would say that there's nothing that is impossible. I have, and we have worked with people who transition from being a care support worker, from oil and gas, from engineering, from HR, from whatever it is. So the key thing is not where am I coming from? It is what am I actually bringing with me? So even if I have, the only experience I have is I have been a cleaner. So being a cleaner is not the problem. It's why could you explain to us the professional way of cleaning? Because somebody we could have two cleaners. One person is just sweeping anyhow. Another person comes with a to-do list to say, these are the list of things that I would clean today. I'll clean the room, clean the bathroom, clean this, clean that. And then cleaning the room will take me 5 minutes, clean it. So it's not just about what you are doing. It's about first of all, sitting down with somebody who is already within that space to actually do a gap analysis between where you are now versus where you intend to be. I mean, where you're transitioning to, and then we'll begin to come up with that a result to say, to be able to transition, we need to do this, do this, do that, and at least come up with a transitioning roadmap. So from entry level, depending on whatever entry. So let me take projects management, for example. So I have an interest. So an interest will die if you don't speak to somebody about it. So an interest would also die if you speak to the wrong person. So if you have an interest in project management, maybe try to book an intro call. Let's sit down. Let's understand where your interest is. What industry are you interested in? What have you done before? Whether you've done something related or not related. So we need to take all of this stuff and then carve out the the career roadmap for project management related to you. So to say, okay, based on what you are doing and based on what you've done, for the next 3 months, you need to do this. Then after that 3 months, for the next 6 months, you need to get this certification or you need to do this volunteering. So there is that road mapping session that needs to happen so that you don't just look at project management as a job that needs to be done. Rather, you see it as a career that needs to be achieved. So yes, the mentoring program actually offers that opportunity to do that. And it's not just about learning tools. If I go to a mechanic shop, I'll see plier, I'll see spanner, I'll see all of these. I can even know what they use it for. But do you know when to use it? Do you know how they use it? Do you know how to use it in such a way that you're not going to use so much force? And the only way to get this thing is to speak to somebody or speak to a group of persons who are already within that space. So if you're not sure which career to focus on, it's not a problem. I did not know. So many other persons did not know until we had to speak to somebody who took everything that we have done, everything that we have looked at, and then try to say, okay, these are the areas in the market that strongly fits your personality, your past experience, your future ambition, and your current circumstances. So if you plot that graph, you'll be able to know to say, okay, for example, Olujide, what will be best for you is this, this, and this. Then secondly, even if I love a particular thing, maybe I want to do horticulture. Now, another thing is, even though horticulture is a very big, for example, tech trend example, you also need to check the markets where you intend to apply that horticulture. Are you within that market, or do you need to go to another market so that you don't just choose a career that is not going to thrive in the country where you are in at the moment? So there are so many things to put. So if you have no knowledge or you have little knowledge without breaking the bank, it depends on what type of bank. There is a central bank, there is so, but the thing is, I know there's a natural notion that, okay, to be able to do this thing, it's very expensive. I don't think it is. It's not really about how expensive it is. It is about how much value do I give to where you want to go to. Now, if we're traveling with Air Peace or British Airways, there is always a ticket. There's always a seat. So if you don't want to pay first class, there's business class. If you don't want to do business class, there's premium economy and there's premium. The only thing we don't have is like those who will stay inside the booth. But if there's chance for those who will stay inside the booth, we will stay there. The key thing is all of us will move from destination A to destination B. So if you speak to somebody within the team, there's always that package, or there's always that thing that I feel would be suitable for you, so it doesn't break your neck while trying to learn. The only thing I would say is most persons just feel, oh, like, I know you now, you're very like, I'm not going to mention name, but I think there is some persons like, okay, there's this thing called over familiarity and oh, and I got my job from Nigeria before moving over to the UK. A whole lot of persons say it's impossible. Well, I don't know how to over explain that. But the thing is, if you stay in the set of people who begin to say, don't do this, you won't actually move anywhere. So I don't think transitioning is hard. I only think that the transitioning process, it can be very difficult if it's actually done through a place that is unskilled or not getting the right mentorship at the time that it's needed. So Igechi, I don't know if I missed out any question. The thing is doing me like interview. That's why I want native today. I don't want to look.
Yeah, I can add something. I can add something. I think you've done well. You've done justice to the questions, the way you've approached it. But there's one area I also want to help people to understand. Once people are thinking of transitioning, especially to project management, one thing that clouds their mind is what? Tools, project management tools, templates. They are good, but sometimes it's always good. I would advise that it's good for you to understand the role, understand how to be effective in that role, and then the tool usage will follow you as you're learning how to understand the role. So don't block your mind or don't put a blocker in front of you. I must learn the tools. It's exciting to know how to use those tools. But you realize that some of us have even been in the space working as project managers. The tools has become like our own personal usage. Most times we don't even present it to stakeholders. We just extract the little thing we need and show stakeholders, because most of your leaders don't even care about those tools you're using. They just want to make sure that their project is being delivered. They want to make sure that you're communicating the right thing to them. They want to make sure that there's no fire anywhere burning the project. That's what matters most. So learn the skill, understand how to be a good project manager and a good stakeholder manager. Then the tool usage will come next. All right.
Yeah,
So the next.
To add to
Yeah.
that in just 10 seconds. So number one, you don't need to get certified, right? You just need to gain the practical skill. If you gain the practical skill, you just focus on getting.
You're already jumping to the next set of questions, but it's good.
So before Darlington jumps to that, let's save that cake for the next event. I want to just say something quickly. About coding. Someone said coding with zero skills. I mean, there are so many tech career paths that don't even need coding. I have not written one single code. I don't even know how to write.
I don't even like.
I can't even spend my name writing it in code. I have never coded one day, because my job will not require it. Scrum Master, project manager. I'm an IT project manager before I even became a Scrum Master. I've never written one line of code one day. So it's not all tech roles require you to write codes. But one thing I would say is this: if you want to transition to like IT tech space, I would advise that whatever team you're working with, whatever team you're supporting, try to know what they're building. If it's the functionality they're building, the features, just try to know it, have an understanding of what it is, so that when the team is speaking their language, you're following through. And this is where mentor partners can also handhold you, so that you understand. By the time, if you sign up for mentor partners, for instance, and you work in one of our projects, that would expose you to the first level knowledge you need to gain in working in the tech space, because you will learn some languages, some jargons, you will learn some processes. You understand what happens at what phase of a project. For instance, you want to become a tech project manager. You understand something that happened in various phases of a project. So I haven't written a code, so it's not only you. So don't be scared. You would learn as you progress. I just wanted to call that out, so that people don't feel scared that, hey, I need to learn one programming language and all that.
Thank you very much. And just like the way not everybody that works in a hospital is a doctor or a nurse, the same way it is in tech or oil and gas, any field like that. So thank you so much. And just to answer directly the question, does your program offer opportunities to learn how to use project management tools? The answer is yes. I know we were all saying that you would learn as you go, and these tools will be second nature to you and all of that. But to answer directly, the answer is yes. The next set of questions has to do with skills development and certification. So I don't want us to answer. I'll let Chidi start this with this, but I don't want us to pick all the questions and answer. Almost every question here has to do with, do I need to get certification? Do I need what skills do I need to? I think those are the two broad questions. So I'll let Chidi answer that first question of, do you need the certification either to land your first job and all of that?
Okay. So let me use my own experience. So for me, right, when I got my first job as a project manager, I didn't have any certification. I just had my skill, right? So I think your skills is the most important thing you need to get a job, regardless of whatever, regardless of whatever position it is, whether it's be a Scrum Master, product owner, product manager, or product manager. So like I said, when I gave my own the motivation to what happened, or how I started my career. One of the issues we have, one of the misconceptions we have in Nigeria or Africa, West Africa, is we are certification and degree centric. We don't try to, focus on getting the skill itself. And it was a mind shift when, I had to do my master's, interacted with people that know their stuff and all that. So now let me give you an example. GTB, back then when the likes of Wigwe and Ike Mokwe then started their career in GTB right from school. Back then, GTB do a thing where once you finish from school, NYNC, you're entering the bank at the age of 19, 20, 21, straight up. You're not going to do any masters whatsoever. So that's been the model they use. So I got to understand that when I started speaking to some of my guys in the banking. So you tend to learn, get your experience for the next a decade or a decade and a half before you now go on to do things like executive MBA. You do executive MBA in GT Bank after you spent your 10th year in the bank. So you see that for them, they understand the importance of having experience and getting the right skills to carry out your work. Your certification trainings will come in as you are getting your experience. You don't go and pack certification and you don't have 1 year of work life experience. That's the issue I had. I have a first degree in civil engineering. I had a first degree in civil engineering. I went to do an MBA. I had 2 degrees with so many other certifications I did with no proper 1 year experience on whatever it is that I was applying for. So when I came back from masters, I was at the same level as a graduate trainee. So the skills is very important, and a mentor partner is what we do. And I try as much as possible to make people understand what we do here. A lot of persons come to us and ask, they want to learn write PMP or write Prince 2 or write CBAP. And what we tell them is no. If you want to write that, we can point you to where you write it. You're coming here to get your skill, get to know the step-to-step process of how to go about your daily tasks or activities as a BA or as a PM or whatever it is you're coming to learn. So the skills is very important, and I got mine without, most of us got ours without a single certification. It was the skills we got, prepared for the interview, got the job. Then it was when we're now on the job, the company now started paying for our certifications. We started writing them while we're on the job. So that's the best approach we tend to advise anybody. So when it comes to skills certification, for me, skills is very important, friend. And after skills, once you land the job, from there you can now start gathering whatever certifications you want to write. That's my own piece.
Thank you so much. But now that you are hammering on skills, very briefly, I'll start with Darlington. What we'll do is we'll just ask what are the top 3 skills. So I'll start with Darlington. You tell us for business analyst, because we have 2 questions related to that. But I don't want us to stop at BA. Let us also, Chidi, you help us with maybe 2 or 3 top skills for a project manager, and Igechi would help us for Scrum Master and all of that. So just very quickly.
Okay, so I used to struggle with very quickly because I just
Please, very quickly.
Okay. So the thing is, number one, for a business analyst, data analyst, IT analyst, support analyst, whatever it is, you need to, number one, know the particular thing you're analyzing. So a data analyst, you need to know how to work with data. A business analyst, you need to understand the business. An IT analyst, you need to understand the IT environment you're analyzing. A system analyst, anything that has to do with analyst, you need to understand is it the now in front of that analyst. That's one. Then you need to have strong communication and documentation or presentation skills, because you'll be speaking with people, collecting, understanding requirements or issues or whatever it is, and you need to know how to document these things and present them in the best possible way. Then I would say you being able to think differently. So Steve Jobs would say, we cannot hire you and still tell you what to do. So if you're hired, it is expected that you tell the organization what to do. And as a business analyst, system analyst, data scientist, project analyst, whatever it is that has an analyst, product analyst in front of it, you need to be able to, after understanding the operations of that particular product, you need to think deeply and be able to identify areas for improvement. So you need to be a problem solver. So these would be some of the skills I wouldn't go into saying you have to understand tech. It's see, this word tech has been confusing a whole lot of person. They say tech, I'm going into tech, and you ask them, even a cleaner works in tech. So let's forget about that thing and look at what are the key skills I need to develop to go into that particular space. Yeah, so maybe Chidi can.
Thank you, Chidi.
Okay, so for project management, I'll just outline three skills. So number one, your communication skills, very important. Project management is, I will tell you, project management is 98% communication. All you'll be doing from the beginning of the project to the end of the project to communicating. Whether you're communicating one-on-one with the person, whether you're sending an email, whether you're having coordinated the team via whatever group chats, communication is one of the things you need to learn, right? You need to grow on your skill. Even me, when I started, right, I was not much of a talker, right? Even if I know I know the right thing, what to say, you need to know in what manner you say it, Now, this takes me to the next one. This leads me to the next one. Your stakeholder management skill and or people management skill, very important. Now, you are communicating to people. You're not communicating to animals or wood or non-living things. You are communicating with people. So you need to know how to manage people. You have a project management team, you have a project team. So you need to know how to coordinate, manage people. People are funny. You can be in a project where you're interacting with persons from different walks of life, Indians, Pakistanis. These guys don't understand the way things work in your country, but you need to understand what happened in their country, their kind of way of life, and know how to manage them. So those management skills are very important. So the last thing is your organizational or planning skill is very important. As a project manager, you need to be organized. Even I know when it even comes to our personal life, some of us struggle with it. And one of the things that I'm grateful, for that I went to the project management is it forces you to know how to be organized. Even if you don't want to organize your life, you must organize your project. You must know how to plan things properly. You must know how to look ahead and know how to properly plan things. So your organizational skills need to be top notch. You need to know how to coordinate things, plan your project, plan how things are going to go. And these three skills are very, very important amongst every other skill that's out there.
Yeah, there's something Chidi said that's just making me laugh. He said, even if you can organize your life, you should be able to organize your project. I mean, I cannot overemphasize that comment because I have three skills that are also written out here that I think every Scrum Master should have, And the first one I have here is organization, the ability to organize your team. The role of a Scrum Master is not like the project manager role where you're in the forefront. You're like a general working with your team, but you're behind the scene. The team is in front doing the work. That's why they say Scrum Agile teams are self-organizing. They self-organize, they decide the work packages, they decide how they want to frame the scope of work and execute it. Your job there is to help them organize it so that they do well. So that organization skill is very, very important. It could
You
be
mean official boy?
that's what they call Scrum Masters sometimes. Even as little as organizing your daily stand-up, the team needs to come to that meeting, understand why they are coming to that meeting, understand what they need to report in that meeting, understand what they need to take out from that meeting. Something as simple as daily stand-up, something as simple as even sending an email to your stakeholders or your team members, inviting them to a meeting. It requires you to be able to organize your thoughts and present it. So anyone comes armed, comes informed, and comes to give you the information you need as the outcome of that meeting. So the first thing I'll say is organizing as well. Please, project. In fact, in general life, it is good to have some level of organization in your work, in your personal life. It will help you in the long run to make sure that you see where you're going to and you're able to plan as you progress. So that's the first one I would say. I know some people might be saying, "Oh, he would have said servant leader." Yeah, that's the number 2. Scrum Masters, they always say, become a servant leader, become a servant leader. But how do you become a servant leader? It's about letting the team take the glory. It's about enabling your team with the right information, the right tools, the right environment that they need so that they can go there and deliver the work for you. Remember, you're a Scrum Master. You're not writing codes. It's the team that is developing the codes, testing it. So your job there is to make sure that the team has all it takes to deliver that job. You realize that in Scrum Master roles that your team can be giving you updates, or they're talking to you, or they're brainstorming on what they're doing. They may not even understand that what they're telling you is an issue or a blocker on their path. They just see it as, I need to do this. But you as a Scrum Master, you're able to see that, no, if my team member is spending time doing this, it is taking away a chunk of his time that he needs to dedicate on writing codes. He's not using it to chase up one person to get what they want. As a servant leader, your job is to tell your team member, hey, don't worry, focus on your codes, focus on the work for today. I will help you solution this. I will help you close this gap. So first one, organizing skills. Second one, that's servant leadership skill. And the third one, I have just 3 skills. The third one, or the last one, not the least though, is conflict negotiator. And what do I mean by this? Even in project management, in tech, any space you are, you need to be able to negotiate your way out of anything. Whether you're in sales, whether you're in whatever role, in fact, you need to be able to negotiate things. You need to be able to sell your ideas, understand what your partner or your friend or your colleague is saying so that people can have an understanding. In the business place or in the job environment, there's going to be lots and lots of conflicts, whether conflicts on managing time, conflicts on when deliverables will be sent to you. The best thing for you to do is to understand a win-win situation. How do I get what I want, while the other person also get what he or she wants, and we're both happy? So I'm not saying conflict negotiator means that you're shouting, you're arguing. No, simple negotiation. We need this, we need that. When is the best time can we get it? When are we likely to get it? So being a good conflict negotiator is a very important skill in Scrum Mastery, because you're managing blockers, you're managing dependency that is on the path of your team. So you will be meeting other stakeholders that are outside your team to negotiate things for your team. So being a very good negotiator, ability to communicate what you want and have a win-win situation is very important. So the second one I talked about was servant leadership, which is very, very good. And the last one is organization. Those 3, I think, are very good for Scrum Master skills to have.
Okay, now before we go to the next, I just want to, I think we all know Joshua chapter 1 verse 8, be strong and be courageous and do not fear. I think that cuts across everywhere, in the sense that as a project, I've worked in project management for years. I've worked as a business analyst as well as a product manager. And one of these things that I always see is that I don't get to choose my team, right? I get to work with people that I did not. So if I had my way to choose them, I wouldn't even be working with them in the first place. Some people are very annoying. Some people are very saucy. Some people are well experienced. Some people will tell you the day you were born. Some people will tell you that they shouldn't even be talking to you in the first place, but you're to lead them. So I would say one skill that we must. I grew up being very small. In fact, in secondary school, they used to call me SMD, which is short man devil, right? So I was always, God, if I am short, what other thing can you give to me? Okay, I just look, I have mouth. I don't have height, I have mouth. I said, okay, this is my mouth. I will show people shiggy. So I started, it made me, even though I was short, I was timid, I grew up being very small, but I was jumping on every leadership opportunity that I could lay my hands on. So I was senior prefect. Even when I was in the UK, I was student rep. In fact, when they were calling, Lord Almighty, when they said who was going to be the student rep for the Telecom 2012 class, one short thing just came out. In the midst of very huge black and Igbo guys, one short thing just as I was coming out, I was saying, Darlington, how are you going to lead these people? And there is something so I felt God allowed me that way, so that so that people will say, who is this small guy? Who is this small guy doing all of these things? So you must learn to accept people. You must learn to have emotional intelligence. You must learn to be able to lead irrespective of. So if you're given the chance to work as a business analyst, don't be scared. My mentor always says, Darlington, the way you go to toilet is the same way that other guy goes to toilet, right? The way he eats is the same way you eat. So you shouldn't be scared, even for those who have interviews and all of that. So you must learn to accept the things that you did not choose. And because your whole career would be working with people that you did not choose. If you could accept your brother, accept your sister, you didn't divorce them, blah, 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 then you can handle anything. So that's just what I wanted to point out there.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to just say that, but you already mentioned that if you have an interview coming up, either project management, VA, some of these tips and some of the things that our panel members shared will be very key in your interview, because technically the caliber of people that would interview you are people that are in this guy's shoes. So and before we continue, I can see Ray's hand have been up for a while, and like Osuji. I know that we've not gotten to the part where we would take questions, but I just want to, if they can just briefly share what their question is, 1 minute, so that we can, because we're already out of time.
Ray said his own is an error, so maybe Ike or Suji.
Oh, okay.
They want to go.
Let me quickly ask a question. I have been a realtor, a real estate surveyor, and I presently am undergoing data analytics training. Do you advise I cross over to a European country first before I get job there, or can I get job here and transit abroad, because I feel it pays better at offshore there? Or do you advise I concentrate on what they call it again?
Landing there and getting a job or something like that, or you want
yes,
to get it maybe
working in maybe a UK company while I still stay in Nigeria, or should
remote work?
Remote work. Thank you very much. That's the word.
So, guy, you like money? You.
All right, I think that's all for now.
Sorry, Darlington, before you answer or you get your Chidi. After Ike, I would listen to Geoffrey, but just these two, please. If you have any questions, let's drop it. We don't mind doing this. Ask me anything again. But we are short of time. We want to wrap up by 6, so let's just try and at least attend to people that sent their questions beforehand. So very briefly, let's try and answer Ike's question. Then we'll listen to Geoffrey, and then we'll run through the other questions that people have asked.
Okay, so I will let me just tell Ike, it's a good ambition you have, but before you start looking for international opportunities, I do advise people to kind of conquer local. So which is, if you've done something on data analytics or data analysis, why don't you first of all start with a job as a data analyst in Nigeria, grow that skill, and while you're doing that, you start preparing for international opportunities. I started working remotely since 2017, even long before anything co or even vid. So, and I was working with an organization that was based in Europe. I don't want to say any USD because we're recording before somebody will come and carry me. But the thing was, I was already doing that long time. But the thing before then, I'd already built because if an international opportunity comes, you need to be prepared. Now, whether you get it remotely or whether you get it when you come here, it doesn't really matter. The key thing is, do you have that skill? And if I have an international opportunity to give to you as a data analyst today, would you be able to do much better than those people here or even those people in Nigeria? If the answer is no, I think you should focus on solidifying your strengths so that whenever those things come, you should be able to kind of be well prepared for it. So that's what I would say.
Thank you. Geoffrey, do you want to ask any question?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you. Good evening, everyone. So my own question is this. I think for me, I've been privileged to work on some projects and I know my strength, even though I know that for some of them, I don't even have any certification. The things I have certification on, I'm not really doing them. I can say that to some good number of projects, I've been a salesperson mostly. I manage stakeholders and all, and I do that naturally. And I think by the grace of God, I've been very good on that, closing down deals without any problem. But how can I? The question is, how can I um which of these areas that you've outlined, because I'm looking at Scrum Master and project management as the part that I can combine to improve myself to in terms of communicate better, manage stakeholders better, and even lead in a better way. So is it possible to be good in these two aspects in terms of being a Scrum Master and a project manager? Is it possible to combine that?
I'll answer your question very briefly. Just look at Igechi. Igechi is good. So it's possible. It's very, very possible. Book a call, talk to us, and then we'll see what we can do. But to your question, it's possible. There are a lot of people that are like Igechi, that are project managers, extraordinary project managers, and wonderful Scrum Masters. Darlington is a business analyst and also a project manager. He just doesn't like to work as a business analyst. He like project management. Chidi too is the same thing. So it's very, very possible. And I think that has a good goal. If you want to learn to improve yourself, you will get to that point where you have a lot of skills that you will now decide, okay, this is the best one that I like, or this is the one I want to go further in. So yes, your answer is very possible. The next set of questions
Thank
has to
you.
do with, yeah, thank you, Geoffrey, has to do with job application. So I'm just going to share, like, just show the next 3 slides so that we'll see. Has to do with finding remote jobs, international working opportunities, working abroad. We have questions in around all of that. So I don't know how we want to tackle this, but I think we can just start with this first question. Igechi can just answer briefly this question. How do we apply for jobs in Canada, US? I've been trying for a long time. I think the challenge with answering this question, before you jump in, is we don't know if this person is currently living in Canada or US, or if the person is in Nigeria trying to get get jobs abroad. But if you can just share from your experience, Igechi, I know a lot of Nigerians have jackparad to Canada, and a lot of them did it from Nigeria. I don't know if you have anything to share with regards to that.
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question, and it's a very common one as well, especially the way people want to relocate to maybe US or Canada. I don't know how to approach this question effectively, because there are some strategies that I want to call out here, which I think those who have working with us as mentees should have access to those bespoke strategies, special strategies that we offer to our mentees once they are leaving, especially those that are relocating. But I'll give you something on a high level, like Darlington have mentioned, that if you're given a role today as a data analyst or as a project manager, can you deliver? It's good to always conquer your local space before you go abroad. I think one thing you can do, I would say, research. Research job boards, research organizations. The only challenge there is finding the ones that will be keen to interview you or employ you. But you could always try by searching for job boards. America is a very big country to start with. So there are lots and lots of opportunities out there. So doing more research would help you. As a PM, as a tech professional, research should be your friend. You know, if, in whatever career you are, researching things that will help you do your job better to be your friend. So don't feel shy in researching for opportunities outside there and applying. But I think one area that we also fail or we kind of struggle is on selling our skills. Sometimes we're able to get the interviews, but are you able to communicate your skills effectively so that your potential hiring manager can see value in you? That's one area we struggle, you know. So it's good to also fine-tune yourself before you get there. It's also good to understand that when you're applying for international roles, accent differs, you know. So are you able to, if some Nigerians, some of us struggle to even understand when we hear a core American talking now, we may struggle to even understand what they're saying, you know. So there are other strategies to even overcome all of that. Even okay, I'll give you one freebie. Watching YouTube to understand how the American accent can help you. It's not movie accent. Movie accent is different. Watching YouTube to say, okay, accent, American accent, just to hear people how people talk can be a strategy so that when you're speaking to them in the interview, you're able to hear what they're saying, also communicate your skills. So I would say research and being able to sell yourself. These are very, very good, valuable items I would say you should have it under your belt whilst you're seeking your international role. For Canada might be slightly a struggle because Canada will require you to be in country before you can apply to get a job. But I'm not saying you cannot get a job internationally. There are some companies that are called, there's one called Van Hack. They work with more of software developers. So if you apply to them, they see your skill, they'll give you very strong coding requirements. If you pass, they can help you relocate you, you know, and you work with companies here. But Canada is always dicey to get a job outside. It's not that it's not possible, but it's always dicey. I hope that helps.
Yeah, thank you so much. The next set of questions is very similar. They are the same, and I think you've touched it. It's part of what we've been saying. You just build up your skills, conquer the local market, and then it's going to be easier. But I love the points that you raised, right? People talking in movies is different from real life. Those are professional actors, and they are paid to communicate worldwide. But when you hear different accents, American accents, you might struggle at first unless if you are exposed to that. But I think the most important is building up your skill. You
So
build up your skill well enough. Yeah.
Sorry for this. I have a feeling this, how do I get my first job as a data analyst? I might be wrong. I'm not saying God is telling me, but I think it was should be asked by a female. So let me try to see how to help how to answer. So the thing is, if you've done your training as a data analyst, you've been able to build some portfolio, you have a CV. So if a job hasn't come, right, look for a data analyst that is already working and volunteer with the person. So assist the person and see whatever the person is doing, let the person be kind of giving you, it doesn't matter whether the person turns you into a boy or girl. You know what you're looking for. And then if the person could actually also reference for you when you're done with interning with the person, so that, because most of the time it's not as if you don't have a good CV, but when you send them out, people will be looking at where have you worked. And if I see that somebody has done an internship with maybe MTN for a year, another person has worked as a data analyst for a company that I do not know. Sometimes there's a little bias with names and all of this. So I think we might not really be able to say all of this here, but just to help, you might need to intern with somebody to be able to get that. Apart from applying to whether local or international opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'll stop sharing my.
Sorry, Nnamdi, before you go.
Okay, yeah.
I would like to touch on this other one that says they are both similar. The one that says, how can I transfer to tech and learn roles globally? The other one says, what are the opportunities of getting a job from Nigeria? I mean, these questions are also self-explanatory because when you look at Darlington, for instance, Nigeria applying for roles globally, got the role, transitioned to the new country, and it's working there today. You know, I was able to also land a job in Nigeria before moving to Canada, but my own is a bit different because I had already gotten PR before I moved. But started applying before I even set foot in Canada. So I got a job, I got PR, got a job, and came. And that aside, before I even started applying for international roles, even directing, I started working with an international company long before some of us even got to know about remote work. You know, I would say that it is very possible to get roles from Nigeria working for international firms. But again, like I said in the first question, look inward. What skills do you have to sell? Are you a software developer? Are you a project manager, IT project manager, Scrum Master? There should be something you're bringing to the market that those firms will be keen to see and employ you. When I was in Nigeria, I had countless interviews. I had interviews with NHS for IT project manager role. I had interviews with companies as far as in Singapore, you know, looking for IT project manager. I had an interview with companies in US, you know, looking for solution technology professional. They're looking for solution that I had as one of my skills to help them. So it's about strengthening yourself with the right skill, the right environment, and then researching for those roles. I would always say research. If you don't seek, you will not find. If you don't go to the market to look for the things you want to buy, you will not buy them, you will not see them. So it's always about researching. You need to really be a researcher to be able to find those hidden opportunities and to land them. But Nigeria, we have lots of professionals, and they know that we come with a lot of experience, we come with a lot of passion to work. We don't shy away from work. That's one good trait that Nigerians have, you know, or Africans in general, you know. So they expect you to work and deliver. So the roles are there, the chances are there. We just need to research, seek them, and go for them.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
to add, you know, me, I'm actually a living proof of you can actually start working from Nigeria before, and if you decide to then move globally, I'm actually a living proof of different stages. And this is what I would say. This is on recording, but please, if you have worked with Access Bank Nigeria, right, and you're looking for an international opportunity, I know that Access Bank is in Nigeria, Access Bank is in UK. I don't know if Access Bank is in the US region, but I know Access Bank has subsidiaries outside of Nigeria. Rather than putting that I work as this Access Bank Lagos, for heaven's sake, remove the Lagos. You work with Access Bank. Let them figure out where the real Access Bank location is. But if you're applying for an international opportunity and you put Access Bank Lagos, GT Bank Ikeja branch, this thing Yanipaja, God Almighty, like, for you're already telling the person where you are located, and some people have a bias with some particular location. So in fact, even remove your +234 on the CV, right? Just leave only the email. Let them not know where. See, you need them to be able to look at the CV and first of all give you a call. I have one of my friends and mentees who is going to be going to a place in Europe. He actually is in Nigeria. In fact, there are a whole lot of persons in Nigeria who kind of have gotten some of these international tips, and companies outside are actually looking for them. So the thing is, if you have it, you have it. If you don't have it, you don't have it. So there are actually some tiny little tips to be able to break out of, because you don't want somebody to make a judgment of you before they even see you. So, and the CV gets to them before they even get the chance to speak to you. And let's be very frank, I do not want some people, like I've had dealings with some Nigerians that I referred to some particular stuff, and I've referred 4 people, right? And the 4 of them messed up, in quotes. Now, let's say I wasn't even in the know, and that particular company wants to hire again, right? If they see your CV, I've worked in this, Bonny Island, Port Harcourt. This is, for God's sake, they don't, because by the time they say this is another Nigerian, right? I am not saying we are all bad, but I'm just saying the bad people are more than the good. So to eliminate yourself from anything that would give a very first wrong impression, we need to go to the CV, and then even at the point of interviewing, don't say I worked in this thing Lagos, and no, man, Lagos is in Nigeria, Nigeria is in West Africa, West Africa is in Africa. Right. So when somebody asked me, I said I actually worked on a very large project for one of the biggest oil and gas producing organizations in Africa. Oh, Africa, fine. It's actually in Nigeria. But what I will tell you is Lagos is in Nigeria, Nigeria is in Africa. So I'm telling you that I've worked across continental stuff. But another person will come and say the same thing and say they worked in a company with a branch in Lagos. They will give it to me, whereas both of us are coming from the same place. So there are actually some tips that we would have to share to be able to help break the code. It's not impossible, but it's actually not straightforward.
Yeah,
Thank you so
sorry.
much,
I
Darlington.
just wanted to add quickly that to what Darlington said. And this is where mentorship comes in. This is where support comes in. This is where we that have gone through this path can also help you bridge that gap. I'm not saying that we will give you the job or we would speak to the employers to hire you. I'm just saying that this is when you're going on a trip, on a journey, and someone has gone through that road. I can tell you this is where the road is bad. This is where the road has potholes and stuff. So we can guide you on that so that it becomes you overcome those hurdles before you even get there. So if that's one of the things you're looking at, feel free to also book a call with our team. We can discuss that in detail. Darlington has been talking about some tips. It's not everything we can share online. So those tips are some of the things that we share to help our mentees overcome some of these hurdles and help them do better. All right, thank you. Nandi, over to you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we are at the end of the road. I can see Ike raised the hand, but Ike, you would maybe when we do the next one, be sure to attend, and so that we'll be able to answer and send the question beforehand. I just want to ask two more questions that for people that sent ahead of time, and if there's anyone on the call that your question you sent it ahead and it has not been answered, please, I sincerely apologize. We will do this again and we will tackle any question that we miss, but we don't want to go past 6 p.m. I think two questions, one for Igechi and one for Darlington. I'll stop sharing because it's not on the slide. The first one is Scrum Master versus Project Manager. What is the difference? And this one, I want Igechi to answer it very briefly. Yeah.
Okay. Like I said, I'll use the quality traits. They both have similar quality traits. Both are organizers, communicators, and all that. But I'll pick one quality trait. Scrum Master, you're a servant leader. How are you a servant leader? You're like a general. Think of a war front. You're like a general. Generals don't go to war. They are behind the scene. But what do they do differently? They provide their soldiers, their team with all they need. They provide them with all they need and support them to conquer. That's one thing that stands a Scrum Master from a PM. A PM is in forefront, telling you guys, we're going this way. Let us go there. So the PM is like a triangle. He's up there. But the Scrum Master is below here, telling you, okay, guys, these are all the things you need. You can come back to me if you have any challenge and I'll help you. So that's one key trait that differentiates us. But a Scrum Master can stand out by using core PM skills. You may not be using the core PM tools, but you need those PM skills like communication, vision, driving, and all that. So it's always good. I always advise, have experience. If you can have experience in project management, have it. It's a very good addition to your Scrum Master role. And the PM role will help you to see things overview. When you see an eagle flying, it has that bird's view, 360 view, seeing everything. It is the PM skill that helps you to look at things from various angles. Somebody's telling you something now, you're looking at it, you're seeing it as a risk that can happen down the road. It is that PM knowledge that helps you identify some of those dependencies. I hope that answers it.
Yeah, I think that's very clear. That's very clear. Before I ask the last question for this session, I just want to remind us the admin person have been sharing all the links. If you want to book a call with us, I want to encourage you, if you need to have a chat, you like what you are hearing, you want to be retrained. We do training, project management training, business analysis, Scrum Master, Agile project manager, and we've started, I think, IT support, Darlington, right? IT support management, and we're going to start data analyst training very soon. So these are areas, but even if the training, the courses I've mentioned are things that you are not interested in, still have a chat with us. the knowledge and experience that these guys have, you can't take it for granted. If it's CV preparation and all of that, if you don't know much about Mentor Partners, I encourage you to book a call. Also, follow us on all our social media platforms. Please, we are posting tips on those platforms. YouTube, all our webinars are going to go live on YouTube, so you can rewatch them. Even this session, we are going to put it live on YouTube. So follow us on YouTube. We would also be sending it, of course, to everyone that's live on the call, but the YouTube is also a good place. There are some things that we might not send, but we'll go live on YouTube and all other platforms. So that's out of the way. It's already 6 p.m. But before we go, I want to ask the last question. Ike, like I like you. You are very persistent. So maybe we'll give you a chance to ask your question. But I'll ask this first for Darlington. Darlington, the last question for you is top mistakes to avoid in project management.
Okay, top mistakes to avoid. Number one is to think that all projects are the same. Actually, there are no two projects that are the same. So you need to approach each project differently. Another thing is to think that I need a certification before I can start, or I don't need certification at all. See, the truth is you need the certification to be able to do the job properly. That's in a very, very but it doesn't mean it's not going to, if you don't have it, you'll be able to do the job. Another mistake is to think you're the best. I don't need to continue learning. No, definitely. Like for everything, you have to continue to learn. And the last thing is to forget that you don't need God. This is one of the biggest mistakes we make. Like, okay, I'm the project manager. I've gotten this. Lord, I don't need you. Whenever I need you, I'll come back. It's a very big error. If you've started with God, please just continue with God. For all other form of mistakes, we must not be scared of learning from them. Mistakes will always happen, but we will keep learning. These are the ones that could come to my head now. But if there are further tips, definitely we would share it to every person.
Sorry, just to add before we I want to add something Darlington said, which I think is very important as well as project managers. One mistake you could make as a project manager is assuming. You see that what they call assumption, assuming. You just assume that this person is doing the work, or I just assume that they understand what I'm doing. They will understand. That is one big killer of PMs.
They understand what I'm saying.
They know what I'm saying. They know where we're going to. They understand the vision. That is a big killer. So as a PM, don't be tired of communicating. You cannot over communicate. It is better to over communicate than under communicate. My people would say that it is better to overcook and people are eat and they have takeaway than for the food to finish and they are coming with their plates asking for more. So don't feel shy in over communicating. Assuming that everybody knows can be a problem. So avoid it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So briefly, Ike and Olushola, and then we would wrap up. Okay, while Ike is getting ready, Olushola, please can you ask your question?
Okay, thank you guys for your time. I've learned a lot of things here today, and I want to appreciate you guys' efforts. Based on everything I've been listening to since, should I call this organization like a tutorial organization, or how should I put it? And all the things that you guys have been saying about the training, in times transitioning, what cost is attached to all these things? Because I know all these things are not going to be free. And the last one is the platform you are talking about, that you started some lectures on the platform. How can one join? And the business analyst, I learned that you guys have not started about that. When are we looking at?
We have started. Olushola, thank you so much for those questions. I'll let Darlington answer them. I think the first one is, who is Mentor Partners? Who are we? I think that's summary of what he's saying. What is our price? What is the cost of doing some of these trainings that we are mentioning? And to answer the business analyst one, we've started. What I said we haven't started is data analyst. which we are working on to start as soon as possible. But if you are interested in data analysis, you can still speak to us, because in the next month or two, we are going to start. So it's still in line for you to talk to us. But I'll just leave it over to Darlington to share basically who is Mentor Partners, why are we unique, and the cost, the pricing range, because we do different courses, so they won't have the same price, but what the range is. Darlington,
This is hard. Okay,
it's not hard.
it's hard though.
It's not hard. It's not hard though. It's better for
Okay.
someone to know.
No, sure. I appreciate the question. So definitely, Mentor Partners, we are an upskilling organization. So it's upskilling in the sense that a student comes to us and say, I want to go into this particular space. So we speak to them, analyze them, create a roadmap for them, find a path for them, train them on that path, assign them to a mentor within that path so that they could build the practical aspect of that skill, learning on the job with a mentor, and then assign them a problem to solve to prove that, okay, they've learned from the training side and they've learned from the mentorship side. Once they're able to solve the problem, then we prepare them for the particular job market that they are intending to go to. And then hopefully with all of these things, stage 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, the student or the mentee should be prepared for the market. So it's not just about preparing you for market, it's about preparing you for life. That's why the stage 4 is about doing that analysis and coming up with a detailed roadmap. So if somebody wants to do the business analysis course and the person is located in Nigeria, I think the course used to be 350, but I think it was slashed to 250, and it's actually for a 3 months, about 12 weeks program to move from stage 4, 5, 6, and 7. So in that period, the training would happen, the mentorship would happen, solving a capstone project or solving a problem is there together with the job preparation. Same if the person wants to do a project management, whatever thing you want to do, even if I want to be a mechanic, right? We need this, the person has to go through this stage of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if the person is in the UK, if the person is in Canada, they're actually, it's the market, the price is based on the particular market or where the person is intending to apply whatever skill the person is choosing to, and it's not like, oh, 250, it's just so big, what do I do? If there's also a kind of a spread out payment plan, so that it's not very, very choking, especially at this point. If you want to go about it, you're right. If you don't want to go about it, you're right. There's no pressure, but the key thing is it's not just about training. It's not just about mentorship. It's not just about preparing for job. But you see that stage 4, it's about carving out a career. So it's like, I should know where this thing leads to. So that's where you will sit down one-on-one with a mentor in the particular discipline, and they would actually look at, these are all the things you've done. I think there's somebody in this call that we sat down one time. He had a very nice experience. He had some challenges and he wanted to do something else. And after we spent about 1 hour or so, we said, no, let's pause. Let's go back to the market. Maybe what you're asking for is not very suitable in this particular market. Maybe you have to include relocation as part of your roadmap so that whatever things you're learning, it will be very suitable in, it's just like somebody who wants to do oil and gas and you want to do it in the north. No, it's not possible. If you want to practice oil and gas, you're coming to the west side, maybe Lagos, or you're going to somewhere in the east, or you're going to somewhere in the south. These are places where there are oils to explore and where there are oil servicing companies. So everything is matched towards what's the gap of the student and what market is the student being prepared for and how will the students get there. And this building capacity, solving problem, and job preparation is just part of the career roadmap. It's not just the only thing. So I don't know if I was able to answer your question.
Thank you. I think you did. Like, you're the last person that will ask questions so that we can wrap up. Over to you.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Thank-
did. But the price ranging is what you did not clarify on.
Olushola, sorry, you mentioned business analysis, and Darlington said 250 if you are applying, if you are from Nigeria or you want to this thing. But if you are not very clear on the price, you can book a call. Maybe it's not business analysis that you want to. Like I said, we have about 5 disciplines, and this pricing is dependent on the market you are currently located in or the market you want to apply to, because the training and the mentorship is slightly different for each market. What someone that is applying in the UK needs is different from what someone that is applying for Nigeria. I don't know if you understand. So what I would encourage you is book a call. We book an intro call. We would have a session with you. We would talk to you one-on-one, see what your specific need is. And then you would hear in that call, you would hear the price. This call is just meant for us to just answer some of those other questions, but book a call for that pricing and let's discuss more. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. I want to apologize. I really did not follow this webinar 100%. I had interjections in between, so I don't know if what I want to ask now has been treated or not. But
no, don't worry. Just ask it. Ask it. We would know. We would know. Yeah.
Yeah. From the little I got, it's like you guys are yet to do data analytics, and I am already doing it somewhere. Now, I would love to round up with data analytics that I'm doing somewhere before I be open for any other course or program. But be that as it may be, I don't know. I didn't see your handles or how to connect, because I would want to have a one-on-one discussion with one of you, explain myself. The person will then advise. Then we take it off from there. I don't know if I'm asking for too much.
No, you're asking fine. Check the chat. And after this meeting, we are also going to send an email to everyone that attended with all the links. But right now, if you go through the chats, the links are there. The link to book a call, the link to every other place. But in fact, the last chat that I'm seeing is the link to book a one-on-one call. So if you can just, before the meeting is shut down, just open your chats and click that link, and then you can go ahead and book a call that is best convenient for you. Thank you, Darlington. Thank you, Igechi. And Chidi had to leave earlier. So thank you, Chidi, for taking out time. Please, we've also shared a feedback form. And what I would like in that feedback form is, if you feel we should do this again, please tell us in that feedback form. You get, it is based on your feedback that we were able to do this. So if you like what this session, if it made sense to you, and you want us to do another one, please let us know. And also for those people that we couldn't answer your question directly, we'll find a way to answer it, either and put it on YouTube. So please, if you are not following us on YouTube, also follow us so you can watch that once we put it live, or we would answer it if there is enough interest for us to do this again. I don't know, is there any other, Darlington, Igechi, do you want to share anything before we?
So I want to thank everybody who stayed. I think there was one question that we didn't answer, which somebody asked, how do I raise money for a business? So I don't know if the person is here so that they don't feel like, oh, they asked a question, it has to do with raising money for business. Nobody. So the thing is, if you book a call, so booking, let me just be clear, booking an intro call does not mean we want to sell anything, right? It's just, there are just some things that, okay, you might want to ask some personal follow-up questions that maybe you don't feel, some people are not very, very comfortable maybe asking things in a very large crowd, right? So feel free. I think we should be able to provide some helps or some leads on how to do some of these things. So please feel free. And I just want to thank everyone. I know we said an hour 30 minutes, but it's slided more than that. So look forward to speaking with those that we need to speak to. But in all, whatever thing you want to do, the best time to do it is to do it now. The way things are going within the country, outside the country, globally, we don't want to be left behind. And some of us maybe should have started these things 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and we keep saying, okay, don't worry, I will do it. If you don't do it, you're right. If you do it, you're right. So nobody's going to fight you, but in all, be like one of those of my students that the son called me and said, I want to thank you for helping my daddy to stop driving taxi. So he was a taxi driver and then moved to becoming a business analyst. Didn't have experience as a business analyst before, but went through the program and got trained and mentored by a business analyst and was able to ride on the experience of his mentor to go into the market. So you don't have to have built a portfolio yourself. You could actually rest on the shoulder of whosoever is mentoring you and use some of their projects and use some of their examples to be able to enter into your preferred. So I do wish us all a very lovely rest part of the Saturday. For those in the evening, for those who are just starting, God bless you. So that is all I can say. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.